Chris, you don't use Spotify, right? Like you don't use Spotify?
No, I'm an Apple Music person.
Gotcha. Spotify does this thing every year where they do the like year in review kind of thing. They do it in November, which we're like end of November, first week of December. It weirds me out because the year's not over yet, but everyone seems to love it.
Well, they want to make sure that you like see the end of the year coming and that you can get ready for it.
I guess, but they do statistics on like year 2022, and I'm just like, guys, 2022 is not over yet. Like you can't do that. It's not, the data is not complete.
Apple Music does something similar. They do something they call Apple Music Replay. They started it like 2 or 3 years ago as a response to Spotify Wrapped. So I do have a similar experience, at least on the Apple Music side.
Complaints aside about it not being the end of the year, it's pretty cool. I like how they do it every year. It's fun. I am never surprised by what I see. Did you see anything in yours that you didn't like? I don't know. It's not, you can't not expect it. It literally just tells you what you listened to that year. But like anything, I don't know. My biggest statistic that I liked, and I liked comparing this statistic against other people, was that I listened for roughly like 6,990 hours. Or minutes. Sorry. 6,990 minutes. Which seemed significantly lower than everyone else.
Yeah, I don't know where mine ended up there. I should take a look and see if that's even a thing on the Apple Music replay screen. But nothing was particularly surprising to me, I guess. Yeah, they all tracked pretty well from things as like, oh yeah, I listened. Oh, I guess one statistic that was a little bit weird is that it told me I listened to 1,200 artists this year.
Oh, that's a cool number.
Which is interesting because what it did was it took all of the Apple Music radio that I listened to, and it counts all of those as like song listens, I think. Because I do enjoy listening to kind of the just pre-programmed radio stuff that they play on Apple Music. And I guess they're keeping track of all of that as statistics of songs you listen to, which is like, I didn't really pick those songs, but I guess I picked that channel, so I'll allow it. But it was a little surprising to me when I had 1,200 artists listen to, because I couldn't name them, more than 5 of them probably. Jason, does this mean that they never get any Christmas songs for you because they send the Spotify Wrapped in November?
Thank you. That's exactly what it means. I mean, they do get at least a couple weeks of Christmas because I start in November.
Sure.
But like I don't know if they're purposely like removing Christmas from it or whatever, but like I listened to a significant amount of Christmas music in the last 2 months of the year, and it never makes my Spotify Wrapped like preview data set. And I am very surprised by that.
You almost need like a 13-month Spotify Wrapped or something, or maybe just 12 months starting in November.
That might be what they do, and I just don't know it. But I don't know. It says 2022, so I guess I just assume that it goes from January 1st.
Well, I'm sorry that your Christmas music doesn't make the list, but maybe that'll change in the future.
Doubt it.
Welcome back to Pride and Accomplishment. I'm Chris.
And I'm Jason. This is episode 89.
Jason, we've mentioned on the show a few times this little thing that we're calling the best deal in gaming. That is Xbox Game Pass.
The best deal in gaming. I love every time someone says it, I follow up with the best. Like, I just absolutely. And I think just a super side note, it happened literally in the Discord we're in, like, I don't know what, today or yesterday.
Yep.
And we're just like, guys, just why there's no argument. There's just go, if you play on, just go get it. Okay. That aside.
Yes. I've been taking advantage of the best deal in gaming and playing a few Game Pass games lately. One of which being the current indie darling, I guess we'll say, Pentiment.
This game has been getting a lot of attention. I mean, I just in like the whole industry, just because it's, you know, you're right. It's indie darling is probably a right way of saying it, but a lot of it, I haven't played it, but it's been getting a lot of attention on other podcasts and you know, video game YouTube channels and whatnot. So, I assume you have played it?
I have played it, but less than I think I would have liked to in order to be able to give like a fair review. But I have played it for, I don't know, probably 2 hours, maybe 3 hours total.
And
I really like it, and I really, really wish I could play it on my Steam Deck. That's my short review.
You can't play it on Steam Deck?
Well, like, I'm sure you can play it on Steam Deck, but you would have to either stream it or install Windows on your Steam Deck, and they don't have a good way to do dual booting on the Steam Deck right now.
And you can't currently stream it?
I mean, I don't know. I guess I could try. I could see if it would work. But yeah, I'd rather not, right? If I want to be able to do this like on a plane or something, right? I can't stream it.
Gotcha. Yeah.
It would be a very good like transit game. It would be a very good like I'm sitting on a plane for several hours. I want to play this single player story driven game.
I mean, I assume it's point and click. Like there's no reason for it to be like quick or anything.
Yeah, I was actually really surprised. So the Pentiment, we talked about it just ever so briefly on their Not E3 episode because that's where they originally showed it off. And I guess from the trailers, I thought it was going to be a little bit more action-y, which I actually was not looking forward to. And then when I actually started to play the game, it is like entirely a point and click, read a bunch of text kind of adventure-y sort of game. It's actually, I guess from what I've heard about it, a mystery game, but I haven't actually gotten to the mystery part myself. But it's a very deep kind of story and like, I don't know, medieval town simulator. I don't know what to call it really.
Wait. You're saying that you've been playing for 2 hours and you haven't gotten to the mystery yet?
Yeah, I might have been a little bit like deep diving on like all the dialogue choices and stuff.
Because like apparently the entire game is like a murder mystery.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
And I mean, I don't know anything more specific than that, but like 2, okay.
I don't know. Maybe I'm overestimating how much time I've played it. That is also possible, but I just kind of walked around because so the premise of the game is that you're playing in like a, I don't know what century, but 11th century, maybe, I don't know, 14th century, kind of old school, like manuscript drawings kind of time period where you've got monks that are transcribing manuscripts, right? And so you're playing as this guy who's like not really a monk, he's just an artist, and so he's just like a hired artist that works on the manuscripts to do the drawings and stuff. And he wants to do his own thing, but he like lives in this town, and he's just like visiting the town, and the town is all like he's from the city, and they're this town, and I don't know. It's you go around, you meet a bunch of people, and all the different characters have like these very detailed backstories and very detailed like personalities, I guess you would say. And so yeah, you just like walk around, and you can talk to them, and it's a little tricky because there's like it's like a really big map, like a really detailed map, but like it's a map of just like essentially rooms that you can walk between, and like there's different people in different rooms, and they'll tell you to go places, and you're like, I don't know where that is. And then you just kind of like wander around a little bit and like try to find the whatever place so that you can like go do your job, like go to work. It's like, okay, I guess. But there's no reaction time, no anything. It's all just like point and click and like read, dialogue and stuff. So it's very different than what I was expecting. I was concerned that it was going to be some kind of strange fighter or something, or like you'd have to do some kind of action-y stuff, and I actually wasn't looking forward to that, but I was pleasantly surprised.
Well, good. I mean, I think this all leads to you need to play another 10 hours of it.
Yeah, I do agree that that's definitely the prescription here.
I will not play it. I've seen, like I said, I've heard about it a lot, and I've seen it a lot, but listening to you talk here now about it and like imagining in my head, and it's not, you're right. You said it when we first started talking about this game, and it's not for me.
No, I don't think that you would sit down and play it. I'm not sure that I'm going to really sit down and play it. Like I should, but I don't know that I will. It depends. I mean, if it was on the Steam Deck, I probably would play it a lot more, but it's not, at least for me right now. So I'm not.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna shift gears, and I'm looking at the show notes here. I'm like staring at the show notes, and I knew that you wanted to talk about Sea of Thieves, and I kind of like understood that like some things had changed, but I'm looking at a single word on this show notes, and I'm just like, wait a sec, I don't know what is going at the word that I'm staring at in the show notes that I'm sure you're going to tell me about because you wrote it down and it's there. But the word that I just can't, I don't know, like, I guess I missed is matchmaking. Like what?
Oh, that is not the word that I thought you were going to mention.
No. Well, I mean, there's some others, but like, I don't understand. Sea of Thieves is not round based. There are not matches.
Yes.
I guess could please help.
Sorry, we broke your brain.
Yeah.
So Sea of Thieves just came out with their season, I think it's 8, I'm pretty sure. And they, as part of that, made a big focus on PvP. So player versus player fights, right? They used to have a thing they called the arena, I think, where you would basically go into a lobby and it was really not that great. But now they've added, I guess you would call it open world PvP. I mean, of course, there's open world PvP in Sea of Thieves. That's the whole point. But like open world matchmaking PvP. So what they did was they basically added a little hourglass to your like captain's table inside of your ship, and you have to have a captain's ship, right? We talked about captains and all that stuff. So you have to have a captain's ship, and then you can have this little hourglass, and your crew can vote to either basically put yourself in the faction for the good guys or the faction for the bad guys. I don't know. There's the green one and the orange one, right? The good guys and the bad guys. And you choose which one of these factions that you want to represent, and then you can open up this war map on your table and then choose basically whether you want to go on the offensive or if you just want to basically put up your PvP flag and say, I'm open to be attacked. And that's the way that they kind of handle it. So it actually has like 2 different kinds of like roles that you can play in the matchmaking world.
Did this affect the base game at all?
Kind of. So the way that it works is if you basically have yourself marked as available for PvP, for this like matchmade PvP, then anytime that you're sailing on the open sea, you can have somebody pop up, and this is the thing, is they rise out of the water, and something happens, and you get some music and whatever.
Like skeletons, like a skeleton ship, but it's another player.
But it's players, and they show up like right in front of you. Like they always show up kind of right in front of you. So you're on this like head-on course with them. And then it creates like a little arena. Like it draws a circle on the map. And you can see it on your map in your ship. And if you leave the circle, then the little hourglass on your table will explode and your ship will sink instantly, and there's nothing you can do to fix it. So you have to stay inside of the circle.
Okay.
Which basically prevents people from running away.
Yeah.
And so the way that all works, and then basically it's a fight to the death, right? Whoever sinks the other ship, they win. And the winner gets to kind of stay in that server, and the loser gets sent to a totally different server. So there's no like opportunity for revenge. It's just, and like, or griefing, more importantly. It's just that you get moved to a different Sea of Thieves like instance, basically.
If you do you have to like restock, or do you like get a base set of materials, or how does that work?
No, so you have to have whatever you have. Like you have to stock up materials just like you would in like normal Sea of Thieves.
So wait a second. Okay, T in the game. If you turn this on, are you like basically guaranteed to get attacked and like to fight, or like is there a chance? Is it okay, I don't know. Is it like another game mode? Like I'm really struggling with how this works with the game.
It's funny that you mention that it's guaranteed to be attacked, because we put up our little flag or whatever to be attacked and didn't get attacked for like 45 minutes. So you are not guaranteed to be attacked. It basically just puts you into the matchmaking pool as somebody who's willing to be attacked, if that makes sense. So like you have what I called offensive and defensive matchmaking. So you can kind of sign up to be like, I want to be the one that kind of goes after somebody, or I want to be the one that gets attacked. And the reason that you would choose to be the one that gets attacked is because you get some sort of like special PvP renown or experience or whatever you want to say if you participate in these games, and you get more of it if you participate while you have treasure on your ship. So if you have lots of treasure and you defend your honor, as they say in all the trailers, then you get more like reward. You get more experience points essentially for surviving that attack if you put yourself as able to be attacked, and then somebody comes and attacks you and you beat them.
Gotcha.
So that's why you would do that.
How do you think are they doing it based on your location? Like, is that like if you say, hey, I want to be the attacker, do you still like, drive around and, putt between little islands, or is it like instantly transporting you?
So this is perhaps the coolest feature of this whole like addition to the game. They added this thing where when you go into the offensive matchmaking, your ship dives under the water, like Black Pearl style or whatever.
Okay,
not Black Pearl, but
so far
Davy
that's
Jones,
really cool.
Whatever. Yeah, you dive under the water, and then you basically just like your ship is just cruising through underwater, and that is the matchmaking. So then behind the scenes, the matchmaking thing is finding you somebody that's willing to be attacked, moving you over to their server or whatever, loading in the assets or whatever it takes, and then the music swells and you rise up out of the water, like you're experiencing the rising out of the water. And at the same time, like I said, if you're the one that's being attacked, you see the other ship coming out of the water. So like they spawn you underwater and they rise you up out of the thing. It's a very exciting, like very cool way to handle this kind of matchmaking piece. So there's no like, oh, we go into a lobby and then we sit there and look at everybody's names and like, none of that. It's really very organic, and they kind of just put it into the world, which is really cool.
That's very cool. That's very cool. So with all that being said, is this something that you think you would find yourself turning, because it's optional, right?
Oh yeah, totally optional.
Well, okay, before I ask that question, if you don't turn this on, is there any PvP in the game anymore? Like, can you go and just happen upon another ship that's on your server like you used to be able to?
Oh yeah, this is completely additive to the game. Like it's not changing anything that was already there.
Okay. So is this something that you would choose to turn on?
Maybe for the rewards. Like there's some pretty cool, if you get to the maximum level of the rewards, you get some extra like cosmetics and stuff. I might choose to turn it on. I mean, I think it's the kind of thing that you have to be kind of in the mood for. Like you have to be ready for it and be like, yeah, we want to do this. We want to, fight some people. We did one offensive and one defensive matchmaking basically that were successful. And on one of them, we were very successful. On the other one, we got destroyed by a solo sloop in 1 minute.
Nice.
So it's definitely not skill-based matchmaking necessarily. I mean, they say that there is, but I'm not sure that there is.
I mean, the sample size is very low for you guys so far, I assume.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And also, we tried at one point to do the offensive matchmaking and didn't find anybody after like 8 or 10 minutes. And then it just was like, oh, well, I guess your ship is destroyed. We're going to put you on a different server at a different island or something. And it's like,
oh,
but what? So it's not really the best like implementation of the system, especially if it can't find you somebody to matchmake with. But they're trying. Maybe they'll get better at it. I think maybe they're suffering from not enough people actually turning it on, because it is a little intimidating, right? To say, oh, I want to put myself into a pool with other people who are looking for a fight. And that's not necessarily the style that you want to play Sea of Thieves every time that you play.
Right. I mean, I imagine that you won't want to turn that on every time you play. So it'll be a very limited pool of people. And it'll be a self-selecting pool of people that are going to be better at ship-to-ship combat.
Exactly. The other thing about ship-to-ship combat is it's not restricted to just ship-to-ship. Like you can send boarders over, you can send people. And that's the part where I always get in trouble, is when somebody comes over and they're very good at hand-to-hand combat and I'm very bad at hand-to-hand combat. I would much prefer if it was like, oh no, you're stuck on your ship and you just have to win with cannons. Like I could do that. But PvP with sword fights and guns is not really my thing.
Okay, totally out of order here, but maybe some follow-up, perhaps, I think.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
pretty sure. I'm definitely, maybe, possibly sure that we have talked about Discord Nitro party and like games or activities before. I'm like 88% sure we talked about it on the podcast.
We did. It was like 2 episodes ago.
Okay, now I'm 100% sure we talked about it. We did it. We played it. I got Nitro. I played the $10 for Nitro for 1 month. I'm pretty sure I still have Nitro. I gotta look. I don't know. But we played it, and I've played it with two different groups of people. And we played some of the activities, and they were pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, we had a night that we had planned to play a bunch of Jackbox stuff, and we started off with the Discord stuff, and we played more Discord stuff than Jackbox, I think.
Yeah. I mean, we started with it, and there was a lot of variety. There were a lot of choices, and they weren't bad. They were good. They were mostly good.
Yeah. I appreciated that they had different styles of games. So we played the mini golf one, which is like golf with your friends. That's pretty standard. We played this word game, which I really liked and Jason really didn't like. And we also played this weird soccer game, which I didn't particularly care for, but it kind of grew on me by the end.
Yeah, the soccer game was weird. We also we played like the Drawful clone too, right? Like the where you draw the picture and you have to guess the word, and the first one gets the most
we did
points.
Do that. Yep.
That one's the most fun for me because it's the most low stress because you're just typing words as fast as you can and you're having a lot of fun and someone's drawing.
Yeah, I guess.
But no, the soccer one was interesting. I liked the soccer one because it was different. Essentially, it was like a turn-based soccer game where you controlled. I almost want to describe it as foosball, like a foosball, but instead of like spinning things, you're controlling like a peg on the board that you give orders to on how fast to move in a direction, and like you're dragging like how far or long the arrow is, and then the turn executes and everyone's peg at the same time does the order that you've given it, and you're trying to get the ball in the opponent's hole or goal or whatever they're called. And I don't know, it was fun. It was kind of tactical in a very simplistic way, and it's a team game, so you know there's 3 players or so many on each side, and I don't know, I thought it was good. I thought it was different. It was something I had not seen before, and I thought it was a cute little game.
It was definitely different. I think another cool part about it was because it's a Discord game, you all have to be in the same Discord channel, which is, I mean, how you'd want to play any of these games. But it also made it so that strategizing was a little tricky because you didn't want the other team to necessarily hear what you were saying, like what you were going to do. And so
that's true. I did notice that.
You could see like what your team was going to do, like all of the moves that your team was queuing up, but you couldn't see what the other team was queuing up. So like people would be like, "Oh, Jason, oh, you're going over there." Oh, and like that's all you would hear in the channel because you know they didn't want to say like, "Oh, you're going to go for the goal." Got it. Like it was very you know, kind of secret in addition to, you know, being collaborative.
I thought it was fun though that like you kind of had to be a little secretive about it in the same channel because again the stakes are low, so it was kind of just fun. But it was one of those things where you're like, I'm trying to be like, hey Chris, come over here, but you don't want to like tell the other team what you're saying, like where you're pointing,
right?
But yeah, that was fun. I liked that game a lot. The golf one was fine. The word one that you're describing is like make a word with a chain of letters from a board. You said, oh, this is exactly like, and I can't remember
Boggle.
What the game
is
was.
Boggle.
Boggle. Yeah. I'm not good at those.
Yeah. I really like those kinds of like word games. They're really fun. So I enjoyed that one a lot.
Words are not my thing. But then we played a little bit of Jackbox. I guess I'm reporting in to say that it worked really well. Exactly kind of as we expected. And you know, if you got a big group of people and you know you want to schedule a night of this or something, it's actually pretty solid. And I think they're adding games. I can't remember. I'm actually going to click the button right now. And see if they've added anything since we've played. Maybe I see 2 more in here called Spellcast and Letter League. Letter League looks exactly like Scrabble, and Spellcast, I don't know what that is.
Spellcast is the game we played.
Oh, is it? Okay. So I don't know. Maybe there's more games in there. I suspect that this is one of those areas that they would be developing more games and eventually, having a larger library. So maybe every 6 months or 12 months we would come back to this and do it. But it was fun. It was solid.
Jason, the time has finally arrived.
You waited to get your dragon?
Yes, the WoW Dragonflight expansion is live, and it has come out, and I have played a decent bit of it, I would say. I'm a level 65. I'm about halfway through the leveling experience, and I've got to say, it's actually a lot of fun.
I have heard so many good things about it. Honest to God. So when we played Shadowlands, there was really not a whole lot of positivity going around. I was like, oh, that's probably standard for WoW. It's, everyone's just kind of grumbly. It's been out for so long. No one really cares about this game. Like, everyone just kind of keeps playing it because it's the game they know and love, or at least know. And the general attitude was like, oh, well, it's a WoW expansion. This is, it's just more content. And no one seemed to be really happy about it. So I was like, oh, this is just the way it is. However, I have heard nothing but excellent things from people about Dragonflight.
Yeah, I think it's actually a really solid expansion, and maybe a big piece of my current assessment of it is that they aren't releasing any of the progression-y stuff for the first 2 weeks. So I think there's still another week of that at this point, by the time that this episode posts. And that is at least allowing me to really take it easy. I mean, that, and also my current situation where I'm not really in a position to play with people. But I am doing side quests. I am just hanging out. I'm flying my dragon. It's a very chill expansion for me, and it's really fun to kind of take the time. And it's like a reasonably developed different area that doesn't feel like it has crazy world-ending stakes, I guess I would say. It's a different vibe for a WoW expansion.
That's interesting. I mean, I don't want to say like freeing or like calming, but it you're right. It gives a whole different vibe to the expansion. If this is just hey, this is a new area and this is an expansion to the game, but not necessarily a world ending event occurring. People get tired of that.
Right. You can only have the apocalypse so many times. It just gets a little old after a while.
Yeah. Interesting. What about the sure, that maybe is why it's not stressful for you or whatever, but people have been saying the game play itself, the mechanics or the not mechanics, the just the way they've done classes and the way all of that is working, people seem very happy with it. Are you there? Is that part of the experience? I think they changed the way they did talent trees or something. Have you experienced that? And is that also been very good or eye-opening or more fun or whatever?
Yeah, they changed the way that talents work. It used to be that you just kind of had 5 talent or 7 talent levels or whatever, and in each one you got to pick one of 3 talents, and it was a pretty limited system. It was pretty small, I guess you would say. And there was one good build. It was each class has their best build, and that's what you should do. And now they've kind of reworked it a little bit. They have mostly the same abilities. They've added a few, but mostly the same general stuff is there. But they put it on this talent tree that's more of an actual tree and a little bit of a map. So you have stuff that you have to have either this or that as a prerequisite to go to the next thing. And there's little diagonal arrows. It's a little tree. And you kind of got choices and things. So it's a little bit more dynamic. And you have a class talent tree and a specialization talent tree. which are different things. So you can say like, oh, I have a mage talent tree, and then I have my frost talent tree, which is like frost mage, or I have my fire talent tree. So when you change specs, you change kind of those things, but your overall mage points are still there. They also really reduced the kind of barrier to switching of your talents. Like it's easy to change your talents anywhere. It doesn't cost anything to do, so you can experiment a little bit more, or you can change between whether you're doing like PvE or PvP content. They have like saved builds based in the game now, so you can like easily change between those things, which is really nice. So yeah, talents are much nicer, and I haven't really gotten like deep into it. Like I've you level up, you get new talent points, you put some in some stuff, and that's kind of cool. I haven't been like looking at guides particularly because I'm not max level and I'm not doing anything particularly difficult. So I just like pick the stuff that I think is most useful to me.
So, Chris, I told you and pretty much everyone else that I don't like WoW.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I have another group of friends that plays WoW.
Uh-oh.
And they've been very vocal on how much they've enjoyed Dragonflight. And I don't have time for another MMO right now. And they kind of asked like, hey, why didn't you like Shadowlands, or why haven't you liked WoW? And I said, hey, I'm really not into the combat style, and I'm really not into the... They're like, okay, well, what'd you play? And I said, I played Pally. And they're like, okay, did you heal? Did you tank? Did you DPS? And I said, I mostly healed and I mostly DPS'd. But they're like, okay, well, blah, blah, blah. And we started talking about it in a little bit, and it's a group of like 7 people.
Oh,
so,
wow. You got a raid group there.
We were talking... Yeah, we were talking a lot about like, hey, like there's 7 of us, which means there's usually always going to be 5 of us, which means that Mythic Dungeons become a pretty easy thing to do on a regular basis. And I was just like, I am about 60% convinced to buy the expansion and try to level up to level 70. I would say the last bit of convincing will require me seeing them all playing together and not being able to play with them.
Yes. FOMO.
Yeah, because if they're playing, like, so far they have talked about playing and they have not actually played together. So when I see them together and I see like, oh man, they're all playing WoW and I'm not playing WoW, that'll be tough. That'll be tough. It'll get me to at least try it. I mean, the barrier to WoW, we've talked about this a lot. The barrier to entry to World of Warcraft is so much higher than all of the other games that I play. It's not on Game Pass. It's not free. It's not free for the expansion. The monthly, like it will be a decision every single month whether I continue to subscribe or not. The barrier is much, much higher. So I don't know. That's why I'm like 60% of the way there. I've seen some of the group play. I have not seen other parts of the group play. I have not seen them play all together. You know, I have a feeling that if I play a little bit, that like I could play with you and some of the people over, you know, in the other Discord. And I don't know. It's there. But it's not strong yet. I'm warning you, and well, not really warning. I'm like confessing.
You're warning yourself.
I'm warning myself that like, I'm like, God, I really don't care for WoW, but God, the peer pressure is strong on this one. How's that?
It's interesting the way that you started that story when you said they were asking what you played. I figured you were going to land on, they said I should play tank because it's more dynamic.
They want me to play tank. They want me to play tank because it's harder. There's a lot of thought involved, and what they say. I mean, most of them play Guild Wars, right? I know them from Guild Wars, and they're just like, so why don't you like WoW? I was like, well, the combat is super boring. To me, it's like super boring. And they said, well, have you ever played tank? And I said, no, I haven't played tank because it requires a lot of knowledge about the game. Like it requires a lot of knowledge about pathing and where to go and how to keep aggro and how much aggro can you take, and you have to keep an eye on a timer. And I said, I've never been confident enough to play tank in groups where people absolutely know more about the game than I do. No doubt in my mind. And they said, well, two things. One, we're a cool group of people and we're not going to blame you for like if things go wrong. And two, tank is way harder, right? Everyone agrees on that because you have to keep all of those things in mind. Maybe that stress and that difficulty is what you need to make the game interesting. And I was like, gosh darn it, you're probably right.
Yeah, no, so that's what I'm thinking as you're talking about it. It's like, you know, I think that's because you have to like face the boss in the right direction and like move and tank swap and all. I mean, even all that stuff, like not even thinking of timers and stuff. I mean, there's no tank swaps on Mythic, but like, you know, you have to use your mitigations and all that kind of stuff. So I actually think that would be the problem there is that you have to get there. You have to get to the max level first, which requires you to like go through all the leveling content.
I got to max level in Shadowlands, no problem.
Did you?
Yeah. I got to 60. Remember I was like 58 when Shadowlands came out because they did the stat squish and all of that.
Oh,
and then
okay. Maybe.
And then I got to 60 in Shadowlands. I don't know, maybe 4 days behind you.
Oh, okay. All right.
And I did do some Mythic Zeros with you.
3 Mythic Zeros.
Yeah, and I was just like, this is stupid. I don't care about this at all. And I didn't come back for Mythic. I didn't come back the next week. Like that was it. I was done.
Yeah, you got to start. If you do this, wait till Mythic Plus is actually out, which is, like I said, in like a week. And then at least you'll be able to jump straight into the harder stuff or like the stuff that has some level of progression to it.
Yeah. I've got to try tank, and I've got to do it with a group that's not going to get angry at me. Which this group very much is. I mean, they're I wouldn't call them like hardcore raiders in Guild Wars. They're the training group, right? I hang out with the people that train other people. Mm-hmm. So everyone's super accepting. And I think, and they're looking for a tank. Like they have people that DPS, they have people that heal, but they really don't have anyone that's claimed the tank role in that group of friends. So they're trying to convince me to take that.
Well, I say go for it.
Great. I'm so surprised you said that.
But seriously though, I'm like taking it easy on the leveling and like doing some side quests and stuff and everything else, and it's actually really fun. So even that is an option, like, or something that like I'm just, you know, like I said, the stakes are low enough. Like there's certainly conflict, you know, there are bosses and whatever, but it doesn't feel, at least I haven't found yet, that there's just like this, you know, crazy big bad, you know, thing that's going to blow up the whole world in 10 minutes if we don't do this raid. Like I'm sure that'll come later, but like I'm kind of hoping it doesn't, because having kind of localized conflict is kind of nice, where it's just like, oh, you're at the Dragon Isles, and the Dragon Isles have their own issues. And it's like, yeah, sure, I'll help out dragons, whatever. Dragons are cool. And so then you get to kind of help these people, but it's also not like, oh, the whole world of Azeroth is about to split at the core. Like that was Battle for Azeroth, you know, and or like, oh, you're in the Shadowlands, and the Shadowlands is the afterlife, and it's everything, you know, it's about to be destroyed or something. You know, that was Shadowlands. Like this, I'm hoping is a little bit less dramatic, I guess, but it's still plenty dramatic. Like the Dragonflight stuff is plenty dramatic, and flying dragons is fun, which I know you told me, and I know that it's the same as the Griffin and Guild Wars and blah blah blah, but like the dragons in WoW are very well implemented, and it's fun.
Well, that's good to hear.
Also, they have these little dragon races, like these little rallies where you have to fly through the rings.
Oh, I love Griffin races. I'm gonna love that.
Yeah, and whenever you do it, it's like a time trial. And when you do it, it plays this really epic music, and it's really cool. And like they're only like a minute. Gosh. Like the circuit is like a minute long, but it's really fun.
All right, well, check back in 2 weeks to see what level I am.
Perfect.
If you have comments on me playing World of Warcraft, or encouragement,
comment should be Jason should play World of Warcraft.
If you have, you know, the ability to knock some sense into me, to be like, listen, dude, you didn't like it last time, and you're not going to like it this time. No one has said that to me, by the way. Literally no one has provided that feedback. So if you have that feedback for me, you know, I'm probably not going to listen to it at this point, but you can try, and you can try to do that in our Discord, which you can get to at discord.pnapodcast.com.
If you want to read our show notes or find any of our older episodes, you can visit our website, which is pnapodcast.com. That's P, the letter N, the letter A, podcast.com.
If you're enjoying the show, we would love if you could share it with some others that may enjoy it as well.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll talk to you next time. Jason, do you have any MagSafe stuff for your phone?
I don't. Should I?
So I didn't really have much either. I had like the little charging puck, and I got a little like mount for it, so I could like put my phone on this little stand that's always there. Not a stand. It's not a stand. It's like a little puck that sits in the puck. I don't know. It's not a very good description, but I got like a little thing that like mounts the Apple MagSafe thing to like magnet your phone onto it. And that was kind of neat, and it would sit flat on the table. But then like a few weeks ago, I got a new accessory that is the Anker MagSafe 3-in-1 charging cube, and it's like my new favorite accessory.
I don't understand what. I'm looking it up, by the way, so that okay. Well, you all realized when I got to the webpage that described what this is.
Yeah. I think we all figured that out.
Yeah, there was interesting timing there. Okay, all right, cool. Yeah, all right, fine. I have something similar to this, but it's not a cube.
Yes. So what this thing is it's like a little cube, and the cube then has two different like features to it. One of them is that the top of the cube can tilt up to like a, 30-degree angle, 45-degree angle maybe. And that's the part where your phone goes. So it magnets your phone, and your phone will just like hover there on the magnet thing. And then the other feature is it's got a little pop out thing for the Apple Watch charger. So it can actually, have this little thing that pops out, and you put the Apple Watch on it. And then behind the phone, after the phone thing is tilted up, there's another little charging pad where you can put your AirPods. So it's actually, you can charge 3 things at once, and it goes to a single USB-C cable. And I am super looking forward to this for traveling, because I think it's like the greatest invention ever.
Yeah, I mean, I have something similar to this for traveling, but it's not a cube, and I think this is cool. I like this more. So my biggest problem with my current travel, I have a Mophie, I think. Is it a Mophie? I don't know. I think it's a Mophie, where it's got the Apple Watch charger and the Apple AirPods charger and the Apple iPhone, like, it's just a Qi charger on the right. But it's not MagSafe, so it is so hard to line the phone up correctly on that Qi charger.
Oh yeah, MagSafe is an absolute game changer for that. I moved one of my flat, like little puck style charging things next to my bed, and just used that to kind of just like blindly kind of reach in the general direction of the MagSafe thing, and it just snaps onto it, and then it stays there and it charges, and it's great.
Yeah. I also like the tilt on this. I feel like if I was at a hotel or something, I would put this on the bedside table, plug it in, and I would put my phone up and probably like watch YouTube or whatever from the phone, kind of sitting up on the bedside table. I do that a lot.
Yeah, no, this is cool because you can also, with the MagSafe, you can do the phone vertically or horizontally. So like it's perfect for that kind of stuff.
Do you already have one of these?
I do have one of these, and I have it sitting on my desk right now. And let me say, with the always on screen of the iPhone 14 Pro, it's really cool to turn your phone into just like this little clock stand thing that's like just always there, but also charging your phone. It's very, very neat, and I really like it.
It seems a little expensive, but most things like this are.
It's way expensive, and that's the one downfall to it, is that it's very expensive, but I have it, and I do highly recommend it.
Okay. Well, maybe this will go on like a Christmas or birthday list for me.
Yeah, that would be perfect.